There's a Salish tale about the Maiden of Deception Pass. It's about a woman named Kukwala who was a Salish woman, and one day she was gathering seafood down by the shore and reaching for seashells, and they were just out of reach, and she kept reaching, and suddenly she was in very deep water, and she looks down, and through the water she sees a young man, and this man falls in love with her and asks her to marry him. And when he asks, she says yes, but you have to ask my father. And when he does that, her father says no. And so this man gives a warning and says the food will disappear, the seafood will disappear because of this. And when the seafood starts disappearing, the father realizes that this warning was true, and he grants permission for the marriage. And Kukwala wades into the water to join her new husband. Over the years, this woman is living under the sea, and she's happy, and she goes and visits her people every year, and they start to notice that barnacles have started to grow on her, and her hair has turned to bull kelp, and also that she seems very unhappy out of the water. So the Salish people tell her that she should be where she is happy, and she decides to live eternally underwater, making sure her land has an abundance of food and water. Since that day, she has been Salish tribe's guiding spirit, providing protection and food as they travel the waters of their ancestors. Neurocystis loeciana, also known as bull kelp or bullwhip kelp, is a kelp that grows along the northwest shore all the way from the Aleutian Islands in southern Alaska to California. It anchors to rocky substrates, most commonly in location with high or moderate wave action. It can be found in the intertidal and subtidal zone, attaching to rocks up to 20 meters deep. This species grows in dense kelp forests. There are 4 parts to the bull kelp plant. It starts with the holdfast, which is called the haptura, and then moving up there's the stipe, and then the bulb or the float, and then the blades. And the blades are the part of this plant that you can sustainably harvest. You must first purchase a Washington State shellfish and seaweed license. You can purchase an annual one or a one-day pass, and this allows you to harvest many different shellfish and all seaweed. You're allowed to harvest up to 10 pounds wet weight of seaweed per day. You must leave the holdfast, and you have to cut 2 feet above the bulb. And you can only go places that you're allowed to harvest at. State parks or random places along the bay don't automatically count. Kelp forests offer protection and food for many species, such as urchins, fish, shrimp, snails, brittle stars, worms, mammals like whales, otters, seals, and sea lions, and shorebirds such as the great blue herons and snowy egrets. So now that you know a little bit more about bull kelp, we're going to go into a bull kelp recipe. It's going to be bull kelp cookies, pending name, but you're going to need butter, you're going to need some ingredients to put in the cookie. You got your bull kelp, oats, baking soda, vanilla, 2 eggs, a little mix of brown and white sugar there, and some flour. And then for utensils, a knife, I can see there, a pan, another pan, and then you're gonna put your oven to, 350 right there. Yeah, let's get cooking. Okay, so step 1, you're gonna brown your butter. And this is actually the first time I've ever done this for a cookie making recipe, but you're toasting the butter, so it's adding like kind of nuttiness, and I think it's good for the texture as well. So there's gonna be some videos of that going through what I just want to touch on traditional uses for bull kelp and how it really is a sacred plant for many First Nations along the coast here and has so many uses. It's been used as in traditional hunting and fishing technology. The Coast Salish made halibut and cod fishing hooks by placing fir or hemlock knots inside of bull kelp bulbs. The stipe of the bull kelp has been used as like a fishing hook. It's like dried over the fire over many days. It's been used for ropes or baskets, and above that, bull kelp is edible and can be enjoyed dried, raw, and or pickled. So it's really a versatile plant. So once the butter is gotten kind of a little bit darker in color, I think I didn't want to burn it, so I stopped it there. I mixed it together with the brown and white sugar. And now I'm going to add 2 eggs. Yep, a good one-handed crack there. And you're going to mix all of that together. So next I'm adding some vanilla. And I realized, oh, yep, just kind of was the whole jar there. I would say about maybe even a tablespoon. Honestly, I love vanilla, and it's always good. And I have this fun whisk thing action going. Yeah, it's like a really fun tool, and it bounces up and down a bunch. And then you're gonna baking powder. No, baking soda. Baking soda, no baking powder in this recipe, just baking soda. And maybe next time I'd add both, I don't know. So then you're gonna add 2 cups of flour. And the butter was in that one before, so that's why it's sticking a little bit. And then you're gonna mix all of that together. And once I'm done mixing this, I'm gonna add in about a 1/2 cup of, these were steel cut quick oats, but really any type of oat will do. Yeah. Okay, so once I've mixed together all of the base ingredients, I'm gonna add in some chopped up cherries and walnuts and chocolate. Just toss them right in. And then we'll add the final secret ingredient in just a second. Okay, so here's the seaweed all chopped up. Bull kelp straight from the bag, fresh. And we're just gonna sprinkle that into the cookie mix. I chopped it up a little bit, and this is just gonna add a good salt flavor. Yep, and these guys are gonna now go into the freezer for a little bit before they get baked. Stay tuned. And once those have been in the freezer for like 10 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna pull them out and roll them into little balls and put them in the oven. And I want to shout out and thank Jennifer for giving me this bull kelp. They're from BC Kelps online, and the kelp is sourced from British Columbia. And I also want to mention how bull kelp is having a pretty hard time right now because of climate change and warming, the ocean warming, algae blooms, and that's affecting their ability to reproduce. It's also, affecting the density of these forests all along the coast, and different chemicals are also being found from like pollutants all over. So it's really important that we're educated about this, we're supporting, the First Nations who rely on these things, and also that we're sustainably harvesting if we do. And I think they're just about done. So we're going to take the cookies out of the oven, and they ended up making about 24 or maybe like 26. So yeah, and they look awesome, and they're super vibrant. Let's have a taste test. Okay, cookie taste test. Oh, yep, go ahead, whenever.
Delicious. That's actually really good.
Can you taste the seaweed? I feel like not really.
Not really. That much.
Salty, maybe?
Maybe a little bit. Yay!
Okay.
Cheers!